Hey Deadly Discoverers, welcome to Working Wednesday. Today we are going to introduce you to our yet to be named children's python. So this little python is not on display yet, so it's a bit new and exciting. But we're going to go through the process that he went through when we first sourced him. So stage one is collection of a new snake. And we're very careful about where and who we source our reptiles from. Our preference is always for a captive bred animal as opposed to a wild caught animal. So when reptiles are transported around, especially with snakes, they're usually transported in a cloth bag such as this one. So these cloth bags, they're really good. They're breathable, so it needs to be breathable so the snake can breathe. But also they're quite nicely fitting, which means it provides a thingmo-tactic environment for the snake. So snakes like to feel something touching them on all sides. They feel nice and safe and secure. So these bags are just ideal for transporting little snakes around. So prior to anything else, as soon as we received one of these bags, we would actually just open up the bag and give a little spray of reptile insecticide. And we would close the bag back up and then we would just leave it be for a few hours. After a few hours, we will then want to inspect the snake. So I'm going to get this one out. And yeah, he is yet to be named, so if you can think of any cool names for a children's python, message us or put it in the comments. So let's get this guy out. There he is. So little children's python, so he's quite small. So inspecting the snake, we're just going to get a general look over it. Have a look at the eyes. Check for the skin, make sure there's no signs of not shedding properly. Check the cloaca, make sure that's nice and clear. Check his movement and any abnormalities or anything that strikes us out we'll make a note of. But he obviously looks really great, and that's because we do source from for any reputable people. Alright, so that would be an initial check over. If it was a wild caught snake, we might look for other things, parasites such as ticks and skinworms, and then we would treat them if it was needed. Obviously we don't have an issue with this one. So then, I'm going to pop him back in the bag for now. In you go, little one, with no name. Just pop him back in there for a second. And I'll show you the next stage, which is getting the tub ready. Seal that up. Alright, we'll just move that out the way. Okay, so next stage is getting a tub ready. So a suitable size tub, doesn't need to be anything enormous. Roughly a tub the length of the snake, just somewhere that it can move around in. So we're going with a tub of this size, and the snake's going to be in here for its quarantine period, which is about anything up to about 3 months, and it will be kept away from all our existing snakes. So what we need to put in this tub is substrate. So substrate is basically what goes on the bottom, and we're going to use paper towel. That is nice and simple and easy to change when it needs to be cleaned. Next thing we need to add in is a water bowl. Quite a large water bowl, but that's okay. We'll pop that in there. And a hide. So a couple of different options of hides. You could go with a sort of terracotta pot like this. Cardboard boxes are even better. And they don't cost you anything. Easy to replace, and if it does get soiled, you can just throw it in the bin. So we'll pop that in as a hide. Now I've put the hide at one end and I've put the water bowl down at the other end. Other things you might want to put in there are a rock, just to help them with shedding. We haven't worried with that this time because this water bowl has actually got a really rough surface, so if you want something to use to help shedding, you can actually rub against the water bowl there. So the snake will go in there and we'll pop him in. Get him back out again. just show him this first, see if he wants to go in the hive. No, I don't want to go in the hive. That's alright. So we'll pop him in there and put the lid on. Seals nice and tight. It does have air holes drilled into it. And next thing is we need to provide this animal with some heat. So he's got water and he needs some heat as well. So we have heat tiles. You could use a heat cord on its own. We've got these, they are already been made up. So what I've got here is there's a 15-watt heat cord underneath, but it's only on 1/2 of the tile. So I will sit the tub on the tile. So he's got a warm end and it's got a cool end. So obviously I place the water bowl down in the cool end and this one is at the hot end. He hides at the hot end. And then he's going to need, this one here is a thermostat. And that will just poke through the hole there. So that is there, if the temperature gets over 34 degrees, it'll actually switch off. So thermostat, make sure it doesn't overheat. So this is the stage basically for the snake to just settle in, get used to a new environment with minimal stress. It's really easy to keep clean and maintain. It's easy for us to check on him. We have record sheets, so we're going to note down weights, when it's fed, when you go to the toilet, so we'll keep a note of any of those and any other important information. And keeping records is actually really crucial. So snakes, like all wild animals, are very good at masking symptoms, and they can mask symptoms for quite some time. So it's really important just to notice down any little detail day to day, because especially with snakes, it can be very hard to know there's actually something wrong with them. So by the time you do realise there's a problem, it can very often be too late. So really record keeping is so important to do. So I think that's everything about this stage. So he's got a cool end, he's got a warm end, he can move around to get himself to his preferred body temperature, because you may or may not know, but snakes can't regulate their own body temperature. Okay, they are not like us, they are ectotherms, so they rely on external sources. So we've given him the options between hot and cold, and he'll move around between those and sit where he is comfortable. Alright, Mr. No Name Snake, he's just about finished his quarantine period, and next week we are going to explain the next stage, which will be moving him into a larger enclosure, and that'll be a glass enclosure, and that'll give him a chance to get used to a bit of movement. And then after that we'll do a third video, and that will show the final stage where we are getting him set up in a full display here at our education centre. So yeah, it's quite a process of getting a new animal in. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, no snake is dangerous if you leave it alone.